Sean O'Malley looked absolutely fantastic in his performance last night. But something that I've been seeing a lot of on the Fight Club is people saying that, well, what are Sean O'Malley's next matchups? They're saying Cody Garbrandt. They're saying Zabit. They're talking about putting O'Malley up there against the top-ranked people in the division. But let's not push Sean O'Malley too quick. I see it happens way too often. Just because somebody has a name, just because somebody's popular, does not mean you then need to use that name to put them up against other names to immediately start drawing revenue. Just because somebody looks good in high school doesn't mean they go and start playing against NBA players. Sean O'Malley is still new in this division. Sean O'Malley hasn't fought but twice in the better part of the last couple years due to his issues in his with USADA. Just because they look good, and Sean O'Malley did look good. Let's not make that mistake at all. Sean O'Malley in this fight and his last fight looked extremely cerebral, and he's always looked cerebral. And what I mean by this is, it looks to me like when he's in there, he's not just going in there and throwing punches. He is making reads, constantly gauging and surveying the reactions of his opponent based off of the stimulus that he is giving them. Israel Adesanya does this. Sean O'Malley's always done this. Go all the way back to his Contender Series fight, and Sean O'Malley was doing this. The difference is that Sean O'Malley, when he used to do it, looked like he was a bit antsy. It looked like Sean was going in there and was feinting, was making reads, was trying to bait his opponent and read his opponents, but he looked like he was eager, he was antsy to make those reads, to get his opponent to react. He was really, really jerky, trying to get his opponent to make these overreactions so that he can counter and capitalize. And his last fight and this fight included, Sean O'Malley looked like he was okay with waiting. And with waiting makes your opponent make dumb decisions. A lot of times your opponent will feel that lack of action and feel like he needs to do something, which is also something that I saw in the lead up with Sean O'Malley, something that you see after Sean O'Malley's last fight and this fight. Being very stoic after the finishes shows his overall mindset going into that. This is a similar thing that I thought about with Cody Garbrandt. I thought coming into this contest with Cody Garbrandt's lead up, he was either experiencing one of two things. He was either experiencing a bad weight cut, which was causing him to not be calm, but to be tired, to be low energy. Or Cody Garbrandt had grounded himself. And we saw what happened when Cody Garbrandt grounded himself and made non-emotional reactions. Similar to the same way that we just saw Sean O'Malley go in there and make non-emotional reactions, even after getting hit. After Sean O'Malley got clipped coming inside, he spent the next 15-20 seconds circling the cage, not being very feinting, not trying to draw reactions off his opponent, more so trying to make his opponent feel as if there was nothing he can do. And Wineland did the best that he could. But that punch that O'Malley caught Wineland with at the end of that, at that exchange, at the end of the contest, was nothing short of magical. I jumped out of my seat. I forgot for about a second and a half that I was watching two human beings fight. The way that Eddie Wineland fell reminded me of the way that people fall in UFC 3. That did not look like a real knockout to me, but it was every part of real. Sean O'Malley's distance was perfect on that strike, and Sean O'Malley punched through the target. People can go ahead and say Sean O'Malley doesn't have power, but what is power? Does he have power in the sense that Francis Ngannou has power, where he can just toss a hand, hit you anywhere on the head, and you fall? No, he doesn't. But he has the kind of power that culminates with your opponent not being able to react soon enough to get their body in a position of which they can properly defend the strike. Setting it up properly, throwing it accurately, throwing it quickly. That's the kind of power that Sean O'Malley has. Sean O'Malley has the power of thought, of going in there, being precise, being cerebral, being calm, not antsy, waiting, and making his opponents make mistakes, and using very, very intelligent decision making on when to commit to those sorts of strikes. Because you can go ahead and look at your opponent, see that they drop their left hand before they throw a right hook, and know that that's going to be the bait. So you want them to bait them to throw the right hook so that you can throw something to capitalize on the fact of knowing that they drop that left hand. But if you choose the incorrect time to do it, not only do you blow all of your cards. You show your hand at the beginning of the deck. It's 21. We're playing blackjack, and I'm already flipping my card, or the dealer's already flipping her cards and showing me what she has. It's going to allow me to make better decision making. You don't want to show your cards. Sean O'Malley didn't show his cards. Sean O'Malley waited until his opponent had went all in to show his cards. And we saw what happened. So let's not act as if Sean O'Malley didn't look good. Because Sean O'Malley did look good. But there's no reason to bring the high school player up to the NBA. There's no reason to throw him ahead this soon. Just because he has a name and just because he looked good last night doesn't mean that he is all of a sudden in talks and in contention with all the other people looking. Now look, Sean O'Malley might be able to compete at that level right now. He is looking absolutely fantastic. But what I'm telling you is that there's no reason to find out right now. This kid is going to have a long career, and there's absolutely no reason to find out right now how he's going to do against Cody Garbrandt, how he's going to do against the Beat, how he's going to do against Marlon Moraes, how is he going to do against Jose Aldo. There's no reason. Let's let this kid come into himself before we start putting him up against that competition. Let's hear Daniel Cormier scream O'Malley. Let's hear Snoop Dogg scream O'Malley a couple more times before we start putting him up against those upper echelon level guys. He looked good. Perfect. He's doing what he needs to do. But once again, there's no reason to move him up into the big leagues just yet. Just because he has a name. I mean, Chase Hooper had a name. Chase Hooper got more hype and more views, according to Dana White, on his contender fight than Sean O'Malley did. And you go ahead and put him up against Alex Caceres, who isn't even ranked. Now, Alex Caceres, Bruce Leroy is an absolute monster. We've all known this. Alex Caceres has been in the UFC since, I think, before he had 5 pro fights. And Alex Caceres, because he does have a name, has been going up against these higher level guys, these killers, since the jump. He's never had an easy night out. Besides Chase Hooper, who also had a name, who was also, I believe, drafted and put in there too soon. I mean, the UFC was correct with what they did with CM Punk. Just because CM Punk had a name, look who they put him in there against. And still, look what happened. Sage Northcutt goes over to 1 championships, and guess what? Because he has a name, goes up against Cosmo Alexander, one of the greatest kickboxers ever lived, gets his face broken in 5 different places. Let's not draft Sean O'Malley just yet. This is Nick with Combat Sports World reminding you to stay combative, my friends.